WWE UnReal is back on the Netflix once again. And once again I have to say, I can't stand most of the people on it. First we gotta start with Phil CM Punk Brooks. Man, does this guy love himself. He is always talking about how great he is in the ring. How great he is when talking into a microphone. How great he is at everything. But here's the truth, CM Phil Brooks is old. He is boring to listen to. His matches are subpar at best. And that is putting it mildly. I for one cannot stand Phil Brooks. There is nothing likable about him. He looks completely disgusting. He is so conceited it is beyond off-putting. He dragged Raw down as the champion, making the show even more unwatchable than it usually is. His wife is a lunatic, whether that is an act or not who really knows. And let's tell it, AJ Lee is nothing great either. As she said on UnReal, her career was full of 3-minute matches. Match was only 30 seconds. And to tell the truth, that is all most women matches in WWE are worth watching. WWE is big into equal rights these days. No problem with that, but in reality, no one wants to watch women's wrestling. It is boring, and most of the women on the WWE roster make wrestling looking really fake. Yeah, I know the guys trotting around the ring in their underwear hugging other guys also trotting around in their underwear hate the F word, but if they hate it so much, get the women back to their 3-minute matches. I'm sick of botched moves and poor timing. Sure, there are some great female wrestlers, like Bayley, The Man, Sasha Banks, and Liv Morgan, but most are horrid, to put it nicely. And back to what UnReal does, it showcases what a bunch of suck-up phony people the WWE superstars really are. Triple H is a loser. And on the show you see it. We all know he was a good wrestler, but if not for marrying the boss's daughter, he'd be nowhere right now. He isn't a creative mind. Raw is nearly unwatchable under his control. SmackDown isn't much better either. But the way Triple H acts. Nonsense, false encouragement to everyone all the time. Constant hugs. Telling everyone how great they are all the time. I don't know about you, but I hate getting a pat on the back. I wanna do my job and be left alone. The egos on these wrestlers must be super low if they need a creepy old bald guy to be rubbing up against them, and hugging them after every on-screen moment they have. What kind of man wants to be hugging other men anyway? Weird stuff for guys that are supposed to be tough. And the WWE is nothing but people patting each other on the back, for seemingly everything. Walk down the ramp, great work, gimme a hug. Had a match where you did exactly what you were told to do, gimme a hug. Talked into a camera without stumbling over your own name, I need a hug for that too. Showed up to the arena on time, let's hug. It is odd how all the guys in the back are kissing each other's feet and bending over backwards to hug each other, when a lot of their match endings and storylines are nonsensical at best. Like the entire end of John Cena's career. What was that? The guy spends an entire career pandering to the crowd, only to tell them he hates them on his way out the door. Think of all the merchandise he lost out on selling. And as with the UnReal show, I think we finally got a glimpse of who John Cena really is. I have never seen such a disingenuous person in my life. He comes off as so fake. The way he talks, the words he uses. His voice fluctuations. His constant dropping F-bombs doesn't match up with the on-screen kid-friendly guy either. John Cena is such a suck-up it is almost laughable if it wasn't so sickening. I liked him until I started to see who he really is. I can only imagine what John Cena will do to get a bit part in a subpar Hollywood B-tier movie. Actually, I don't want to imagine it. Gross, most likely. They showed a little of Braun Breaker. I actually thought the show did a good thing for Braun. I see Braun as a boring, not so good wrestler. Other than his spear and running the ropes, he offers very little to WWE TV. He is a terrible talker. And he really doesn't look all that mean. Michael Cole is constantly yelling that Braun is unpredictable. But I don't see that at all. He does the same old moves over and over. He doesn't want to be known as a Steiner, it said on the UnReal show, but then he is trying to copy Goldberg. Doesn't make sense. Braun was shown in a way where he looks like a nice guy who wants to do well though. UnReal usually lowers my opinion of most WWE stars who are on it, but it made Braun more respect-worthy. And speaking of respect, Scrap Daddy was captioned as a former pro wrestler, while former WWE wrestlers were described as former WWE superstar. Personally, I'd rather be called a wrestler than a superstar if I was a wrestler. But I saw that as kinds insulting to Daddy Scrap. UnReal also spent some time on Liv Morgan as a person. I like Liv as a wrestler in the ring. She usually puts on a good match. But, as a backstage character she is annoying. As a talker she is more annoying. And on UnReal she comes across like she is totally crazy. She had some whacked out bootleg farm, and she can't speak a sentence without saying the F word at least once. She seems like she has brain damage. Not trying to be a jerk in saying that, she really does seem like there is something wrong with her. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't make it to 40. Once her career is done, I think she is done with life. There was a segment about who else, Seth Rollins. He was hurt again. It puzzles me why wrestlers are doing all kinds of over-the-top moves that are super risky. Back in the old days, the wrestlers seemed intent on trying to not get hurt. Now they seem like they all wanna be Jeff Hardy and go as close to the edge of possible injury within every match they are in. So Seth gets hurt and they don't know what to do with the title. So of course it needs to be given to Phil CM Punk Brooks. Sure, he's old and boring, and no way can the WWE writers' room ever realize people seem to like a guy named LA Knight. They don't listen to the fans, ever. This is another huge problem with WWE. LA Knight is a copy of The Rock. We all know it. But people seem to like the guy. And he is getting old. His window is closing. How long until the people realize he loses every match? And he really has become enhancement talent, a jobber like Iron Mike Sharp. I don't get it. I didn't like the idea of a show like WWE UnReal. I liked it when wrestling came on TV once or twice a week. You watched it? And then saw nothing about wrestling until the next week. WWE seemed to make you want to watch the TV show. It used to be like a soap opera and left you wanting more. That era is done. It's all a build-up for the pay-per-live events. Raw is all commercials and entrances and backstage segments. You don't need to watch it when you can read about what happened on the internet to the next day. No one good wrestles on Raw TV, so the matches are not even worth seeing. UnReal shows everyone how WWE operates. And it isn't good. I hate low-class gutter talk. I hate suck-ups. I can't stand how all these big supposedly tough men brawlers are tripping over themselves to get the approval and hugs of guys like Triple H. I wonder what guys like The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin were really like hanging out in Vince's private locker room during the Attitude Era. Probably kissing Mr. McMahon's you-know-what to keep their spot at the top of the roster. And probably actually kissing it. We all saw how Vince made people kiss it when he dropped his pants on live TV. That was probably him showing the world what really goes on backstage in the WWE. I guess those guys are not as tough as they want you to think they are after all. I know WWE wants to be everywhere, but UnReal is a bad idea. Almost nothing looks good for WWE on it. The wrestlers look like misfit nutcase phonies. The writers look like incompetent yes men. And Triple H looks like the biggest fake next to John Cena.